This is our drone activity analysis project by
Cindhy,
Pauline,
Larissa,
and Tara.
JM is a 74-year-old man who lives with his wife and cat. He takes on the roles of husband, father, pet owner, and part-time psychotherapist. JM lives in a 3-story townhouse in Montrose. His occupational history includes raising 3 daughters, being a pilot, boxer, and counselor, and reading. Prior to his injury, he was an avid exerciser, frequenting the gym 3 times a week and boxing in his garage twice a week. He values his family, keeping physically fit, and spending time outdoors, as he is passionate about nature. Spending time having coffee with his daughter on the weekends is meaningful to him because with her school, he now only gets to see her once or twice a week. 1 month ago, JM experienced a fall while trimming a tree in his backyard, which caused injury to his left arm and shoulder, decreasing his fine motor skills in his left hand. JM's goal is to engage in the occupation of leisure participation with the targeted outcome of returning to his former workout routine in order to maintain his physical and mental health and wellness. Supports to his occupational engagement include having the support and encouragement of his wife and children. However, his history of depression could act as a barrier, so it is of the utmost importance to make sure to keep him motivated and involved in his treatment plan.
Client performance. JM has both supporting and preventing factors that will affect his performance. For preventing factors, body functions include left upper extremity impairments, limited range of motion in his shoulder, limited coordination, as well as depression. For supporting factors, body functions include right hand dominant and functional sensation and some motion in his left upper extremity. Person-environment interactions include family support. Assessments that would be used in the evaluation of JM include range of motion, manual muscle testing, grip strength and pinch strength, visual acuity, Canadian Occupational Performance Measure, trail making test, as well as cognitive assessment of Minnesota, tasks 1 through 4, which include attention span, memory, visual neglect, and following directions.
rules and materials for the activity that JM performed during therapy. Rules. Therapist will say a specific color and patient will fly the drone to the color. Each color has a specific task the drone must perform. The patient must be able to see the whiteboard to read what the drone needs to perform. Once the drone performs the activity, the therapist will say the next color in which the client will direct the drone on top of and perform the designated activity assigned to the color. Cueing is done as needed when the patient is having difficulty. The activity will be completed once the client is tired or when the drone runs out of battery. Materials. Varied colored paper, tape, whiteboard, dry erase markers, mobile device, the Parrot Night drone, and the Parrot Mini Free Flight app.
Here are the designated commands for the drone to perform.
And here is the setup for our drone activity.
Here's the video of us performing the drone activity.
Okay, Pauline, are you ready? I'm going to tell you which color, and you're going to follow the instructions on the board. Okay. All right, go ahead and take off. Good. Okay. Go to purple. Purple, right, left, left. Good. Okay, yellow. Yellow side, flip back. Good. Red. Red says land down. Try to land on the red square as close as you can. Oh, okay, that was close. Okay, green. Orange. Orange says number 1. Okay, good. White. White says let's go. Good. Pink. Okay. Pink says right. Very good. Orange. There's two of them on the left. Good. Get a little closer. And what does orange say? Orange says cover. Okay, good. And red. Okay, and red says orange. Friendly and close. So we're going to use good.
Here are the influencing and motivating factors of the activity. Activity goals: accomplish as many colors as they can, be able to fly the drone, exercise fine motor, cognitive visual process, and social interactive skills, improve self-efficacy.
The activity analysis for the previous pictures include upper extremity and cylindrical grasp. The shoulder is in flexion about 30 degrees. The muscles include anterior deltoid, pectoralis major, and coracobrachialis. The elbow is in flexion, which includes biceps brachii, brachialis, and brachioradialis. And the wrist is in slight extension, ECRL, ECRB, and ECU. For the cylindrical grasp, the thumb and fingers are both involved. The thumb is in flexion using the flexor pollicis longus and abduction using the adductor pollicis. I meant adduction. The fingers 2 through 5 are in flexion, the FDS and FDP, and the slight lateral rotation 4 and 5, which uses the fourth dorsal interossei and the abductor digiti minimi.
Motor skills necessary to perform the activity are: patient must position the drone over the specific color the therapist verbalized to him or her, be able to grip and manipulate the mobile device to control the movement of the drone, stabilize the drone on top of the color before the particular movement needs to be performed, transports the drone to the specific color of paper, and coordinates the movement of the drone from the mobile device.
Process skills. To complete the task of the game, the patient must attend to the free flight app, the drone, the therapist, and the directions indicated in the whiteboard to accomplish the task. Heed to the instructed directions originally agreed upon with the therapist. Choose, use, handle the necessary buttons on the free flight app to manually fly the drone. Inquire to the therapist for extra guidance or if they are having difficulty. Initiate, continue, sequence, terminate the task in order and in a stepwise manner. Search, locate each of the colors in the floor and the designated tasks in the whiteboard. Organize her or himself in a comfortable position by sitting and holding their phone and be able to see the whiteboard. Navigate their way into the different colored papers and on the floor to find the correct one and to do the task top of the color. And lastly, notice response to the task and correct or adjust, accommodate to control the drone better. Social interaction skills. To complete the task of the game, the patient must approach or start interaction with the therapist in a socially appropriate manner, conclude or disengage the conversation or social interaction appropriately, produce speech by repeating the colors, stating their understanding and asking questions or help if they need to, speaks fluently to communicate with the therapist, turns towards or look at the therapist when speaking and giving directions, places him or herself in an appropriate distance from the therapist, regulate their behavior appropriately, replies appropriately to questions and comments, express emotion or disagrees in a socially appropriate way, thank the therapist for their help and guidance, transitions conversation with the therapist, time response or duration are appropriate with no delay or hesitation. Take turns or matches language when speaking with a therapist, clarifies, acknowledges, empathizes, accommodates with a therapist. And here are our references.